Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for watching today. I'm going to be doing a speed build with the Enchanted Tiki Room house skin, and I'm going to be building a big river with the Neverland River Kit to go around the house. And if you don't have this house skin, I think that this would be a really cute idea for Moana's house. I did decide to put this in the Sunlit Plateau because this is a very big house skin, but also I wanted to build the big river around it, and I just wanted to give it a very jungly, overgrown feel around the river. So that's why I chose this spot, because it is a very good amount of space on this side of the Sunlit Plateau. I may be putting Moana on the other side. I just like the idea of being able to put her somewhere else, and I just really like the vibe of this place and how it turns out. When I was doing my Neverland build tips video, when I was first playing around with the Neverland River Kit and did the build tips video, I used this house in it and I started kind of making a river around it, and I just really liked that idea. But I didn't want to have it on an island because I want to see it and I want to be able to visit it. So I thought this was a good space because there's a good amount of space here on this side of the Sunlit Plateau. And so I think it kind of fits the vibe. I wanted to make it very kind of jungly, very full. So you see that I'm surrounding it with these big bamboo walls because I really didn't want to see the other biomes from here. I wanted it to feel very kind of enclosed and like you're in all of the nature, and that's what you see when you walk through here. So I wasn't sure on placement, so I'm kind of playing around. I really wanted to fill it up pretty well on the outside with a lot of trees and foliage. So I'm just kind of making sure I have room for the big clusters and covering up the other biomes so I don't see the glade and the plaza and meadow. Figure out the placement I wanted. I started laying down these wood planks just so I know that I need to have a walkway just to kind of border myself off. So I wanted to put those down so I knew not to place stuff over the walking path that I would need. And so then I started using these rocks again to make a path around, just so I know that I don't so I know that I'll be able to walk through it and I don't put river over it. So I just kind of laid those down really quickly just so I know where my borders are at for my river. And then I decided this was the placement for the house, so I started putting the river pieces down. I made make sure I have a walkway into it. And then since my house skin is at a diagonal, you can't place the river kit pieces at a diagonal or they won't connect. So I kind of had to make sure that I was placing the river kit pieces on the grid, straight on the grid, without turning them in a diagonal way. So you can only connect these together when they're on the grid, like straight up and down, not at any of the diagonals. So it still obviously looks diagonal, especially because the house is, but all of these pieces are on the grid appropriately. And then I'm just going to follow it around. I wanted to make it very curvy, not straight, pretty close to the house because I wanted to have enough water inside that when I, put the other border around my path, and leaving some little curves and spaces here and there for trees and foliage and stuff. So I'm just going to keep kind of following it around, and you'll see that sometimes I try some pieces and then I decide that I want to make it closer or put something different for different foliage or something. If you wanted to see exactly what piece I use, obviously you can slow down YouTube. You can also speed it up if this is too much, because I did this all at once. I don't cut anything out. So you'll see everything that I do here for this river. I didn't cut over anything when I was changing things around or anything. It's just sped up. So It didn't take me that long to build, but I have been using these pieces a lot. I'm sorry, I probably have a lot to build with these, but I just really love how this river kit looks. Also, I used about 200 pieces for the river in the end once I filled it all in and everything. To alleviate some of that, you could plan it out to have more of the bigger filling pieces inside, but I didn't really plan it out, in that way. So I only got one of the bigger like water filler pieces in here. So I used a lot of the single pieces. Obviously, the edge itself takes a lot, so just keep that in mind. I also had to go to Scrooge's and buy a lot more of those little corner pieces like I'm always buying. But I've been building a lot of these rivers. I do have a build tips video on it. I also have a walkthrough to show you how to make the curvy rivers and stuff if you want to check that out on my channel. I can also link it in the description. But I just really love how these looks and how this came out. So now that I got all the way around, I'm gonna start building the outside of the border of the river. Also, I could have put the water straight up to the walking path and made it like a bridge so that the water kind of looked like it flowed through, and then there were like all the way around, and then there was a bridge to the tiki room. But since I wanted that tiki room on the diagonal, it would have been a little bit more tricky with pathing and stuff. I do have a bridge in my Aurora cottage build, like over water. Water will go really well up to like a bordered pathing and fence and stuff like that, which also looks really nice. So it's just a little bit more tricky with having houses on the diagonal, as I'm sure you know. But I end up really liking how this turns out because it's kind of like an entrance on either side. So I'm gonna just keep doing the same thing on my outside border. I'm just going to keep building it out. I wanted it to be somewhat close to the path. I still want to be able to walk freely, but I did want to have a good amount of water to look at and also have a lot of curves so it looks very natural. So that's what I'm going to do. And then there's a couple places I wanted to leave a little bit more space for decor. Like I knew I wanted to put like a sitting area somewhere on the outside as well, so I leave some space for that. And like I've said before in my other videos, as long as you always connect the edges seamlessly and they're all correct, wherever you start the river doesn't matter. When you come back to it, it will always connect up how it should, as long as every edge piece is seamlessly fitted together, and you'll always be able to fill it in with the extra filler pieces. So I'm just gonna keep following it around, and if you end up with something that doesn't connect, just zoom in and check, or walk around and check all your river pieces that all of the edges are correct. That's why you also want to make sure that you're setting them straight on the grid, not at any diagonals, or they won't connect appropriately. And there's also things you can do to cover up any mistakes or things. If you just don't see it, just add some beach grass on it, or the rock rug, or there's different things that you can do to cover up any mistakes. The beach grass is wonderful. It goes right into the river kit. So I'm not worried about any of that. I just keep following it all the way around and kind of deciding how close I want it to the path, or where I want extra spaces for trees or foliage or things. The river kit on the edge, sometimes it looks like you can get closer to the edge with items, but because it's rounded and it kind of curves down, you can't get right up to the edge with it with certain items. So you want to leave a little bit more space than you might think. But as you can see, I'm very, very close. I did want, like I said, to have as much of the water that I could look at that was possible, with adding a little bit of foliage around. So you can see that everything connected up. My whole river border was complete and all connected appropriately, which is good. And then I decided to start filling it in, and I grabbed the biggest piece I thought might fit. So I did get one of these like big half towels that I could fit a boat on if I wanted to. And then I just started placing the bigger pieces, as many as I could, in spots. And then so I just kind of go down the list, and if you line these pieces up to an edge, to two edges, you'll always be able to fill in the rest. So I placed a lot of the empty tiles so that I could add my own decor, and then I added some of the tiles that come with decor on them. And then once I get as much of the bigger pieces in, I'll fill it all in with the single tiles, which I had to go buy more. But it's kind of nice filling in a river. It's like very satisfying once you see it all put together and get out of furniture mode. So I went and checked it. I thought it looked really good. I just needed to go grab some more pieces from Scrooge and filled in the rest of it. Sometimes the pieces in this river are there, but the game doesn't see them until you save or reload or things. So then I started wanting to fill in the background. I wanted to add some waterfalls or different things that just kind of fill up the background quite a bit, but not too cluttered. And I also wanted to see where I would have space for like sitting areas and stuff, and just start adding the bigger items first so I could see. I wanted to put something over here in this corner, which I will change that corner a little bit later. I just continue on. I put this little sitting area, a couple little sitting areas out, which I do kind of change some of the items. Like, I like this table and bench, but I do change it to the little, like, tiki table with the umbrella from the Stitch bundle. And then I have this nice sitting area here. I started just adding the path. I don't know how, I didn't finish the rest of the biome or like entranceway around this yet, so I'll be doing that later. So I just kind of put a little bit of pathing, not much, just so I knew where like my borders were for tiki torches or foliage and things. So I'm not really sure how I'm going to, if I'm going to leave the path like this or not, but I'll finish it all later. Just trying to see if I wanted to just keep just the wood planks, or kind of put the pathing under it. And so I'm just gonna go ahead and put pathing under it, which I kind of like that a little better. I really wish we had these wood planks in different colors, and I mean all kinds of things. Pathing, fences, all kinds of things. I would love to have different colors. All kinds of furniture pieces, but you know, it's alright for now. So I decided later that I wanted to add the waterfall piece. So I had to take out one of my big jungle clusters to fit it in over here, and I put it at the diagonal so the edge pieces won't fit on it. I just covered up the edge with some beach grass. So I'm just filling in kind of this space since I had to remove the big jungle cluster. And then you can see I'm covering up the edge with grass there, which I think is fine. And it got really foggy. I'm just gonna place I'm gonna start going through everywhere, placing palm trees and jungle trees, jungle foliage. So I'm just gonna place a bunch down and then I'll start copying it over to all the places that I wanted to fill up. And then I also wanted to have a lot of critters in here, like birds and capybaras, monkeys. I don't know. I put a few, um, so then I decided to put this Trader Sam saw over here because I think it matches so well. I think it's really cute. So I got that to fit there where I'd remove the jungle cluster, which I like that. And then I was able to fit a boat over here. So I wanted to put a little dock there, kind of like the Trader Sam saw. You could buy a little boat ticket or something. So I adjusted this part of the river just to fit a little dock in there next to the boat. I really love these like firefly lamps. I just really wish they would turn on at night. So yeah, you have to turn them on manually. So I did put a bunch of tiki torches around too that would light up on their own like they're supposed to. And then I'm just gonna continue filling out a bunch of foliage. And then I'll add my critter houses and add the critters. And I do end up just skipping a lot of the foliage stuff because it's really sporadic all over the place. I dropped a bunch of flowers. I went and grabbed some Eternity Isle flowers because they have a much better footprint, and I just wanted to add a lot of color in after I added all the green foliage. So I kind of skipped through that, and then here is the final build. I really love how this turned out. I love walking through here. I like it at morning light, sunset, daytime. It's really nice. Yeah, so I'm very happy with it. I hope that you like it too. As you can see, I just kind of put a bunch of different flowers around that added the color, which I just think makes it all like stand out even more. And I like all the views from here. I am going to finish this biome off in the same type of way and foliage and stuff. I think I will use Moana's house most likely, and I'm not sure, but we already have a big lake on the other side, and so it'll be the same type of aesthetic, but I'm sure you'll see it eventually when I do it. I really like this little seating area by the waterfalls and all the views of the river and surrounding like foliage and everything from here. Yeah, I think it turned out really nice. I like how well the river fit here, and just like walking down all different views from either way looks really good. I'm gonna add some more. As you can see, the waterfalls and stuff on the other side, probably that little market stand. I don't know, I might make it like a retreat or some area over there. I love seeing all the birds and little critters as I walk through. Got my nice little coconut drink here. It's a very grand house skin. Very tall, very good. I do think this would also look really good in the wild tangle, which was my original idea, but I just haven't filmed there yet, my tour, because I have it fully decorated. So I really like it though here in the Sunlit Plateau. I think that it worked really well with this space. all the flowers really help bring it all together. So if you're thinking that you just have a lot of green when you're filling up a space, just remember you can always add flowers, and it really can make a big difference. Just don't vacuum them up like I tend to do a lot. But thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I hope that you enjoyed it and maybe got some inspiration. And if you did like the video, I'd really appreciate if you put a like on it and subscribe if you haven't. And have the most wonderful rest of your day.